Yes. Dreadhead, weed head. Yes. No sleep, don't need a bed. Yes. All my niggas team players. Yes. Trying to keep my team fed. Yes. Every time you see me out, yes. I be where the green is. Yes. I be where the bitches is. Cop it, put some switches in.
Good morning, 12 subscribers. Here we are again at Casa de Gas for our annual 1-year video. As you will see inside of all of these boxes, which I will try to censor out my address, we have nothing but JDM stuff. You can tell because the package has Japanese stickers all over it, which means it's JDM. So on this beautiful IS300, aka JDM status Altezza, we're gonna be installing, you can see how clean it is too. We got this thing in Georgetown. I think it was only a 1 or 2 owner, but the guy that owned it second, if you see how clean it is, he never drove it. We had a double din installed for it, and then got to make sure we got the quarter glass stickers on there, represent your brands. Quick detailing, all accessories are still in. It's like nobody ever really actually sat in the rear. Pop the trunk. I'll blur out the license plate, not that it actually matters. Super clean. It even still has the OEM Lexus first aid kit and everything. Super cool. The only thing we've actually done to this thing so far is intake and exhaust and window tint and radio. But today what we're going to be doing is this JDM Altezza grill, which, if you didn't know, the Altezza grill came in 4 different styles. It was the RS200, which is the limited version, the RS200 limited, which is this one. It was the part of the final edition that you could get, where it has the multiple grill lines, and then it also has the mesh sport, but then you can change out to the black emblem. Super cool because it's got a little bit of a chrome, but it's still gonna stay with the whole kind of like dark accents and everything, especially with that grill up front. And then you can compare it to what's stock on here, which is just the Lexus emblem. And this actually is the same thing in Japan too, except this center emblem comes with an Altezza in usually red, but you can option out to get the black one. But this one right here, I think is gonna match the style of the car a lot. We saw an example of a real RS200 limited Altezza, and it just looks super, super good. So, and then on top of that, we're also gonna be installing some super sick, there's the part number if you wanna see it, straight from Toyota, Japan. These are the Altezza rain guards. So you could tell they're official OEM because they actually have Altezza embossed on the rain guard. And you know, a lot of people, they talk about, oh, it's not a real Altezza, but I'm pretty sure if you look at the structural integrity or the way that the whole frame was made, all these body panels, it's the exact same thing, guys. You guys just have to understand how marketing goes. And we don't really care. We just want it to look sick, and we want it to perform good and have that daily life. So we're gonna jack up the car, but let me show you right here. We got the Greddy SP Supreme, and then we'll show you what we're gonna be doing underneath here too, because we have some work to kind of protect the undercarriage. In order to make the exhaust fit, you had to actually cut out or grind down a part of the subframe, and to keep it from rubbing, because the tubing on it is 3 inches in diameter. And then we also have the HPS intake. So this, which is nice because this bolts right in, has a heat shield that comes with the actual kit. We chose the blue. I voted for black, but this is his car. He wanted the blue, and it really looks amazing because it really matches almost pretty close to the car color, close enough. It's just had like the timing belt done, new water pump, a bunch of seals and everything. Since it's a 20-plus-year-old car, almost, just about, or no, actually it's only like 18 years old. But you know, rubbers and plastics start to degrade over time, and you just kind of gotta give attention to them if you really want to prolong the life of your vehicle. But it's, other than that, it's all stock. For how long it will stay, who knows? We're mainly about trying to keep that reliability and just enjoying it. And if you don't know, these are solid cars, really solid cars, especially when you're messing with like a 2JZ GT, or I'm sorry, 2JZ GE, naturally aspirated, so it's not under any boost or stress or anything like that. It just gets some every once in a while spirited driving. But I've noticed that online there aren't really many really good explanations on how to install these rain guards, because these rain guards come with different clips, and we're gonna try to do, once we open it up and everything, we're gonna try to do a really nice close look on how they actually get installed. Okay, talk to you in a little bit. All right, so when you're unboxing the rain guards, you'll see that it's gonna come with, you've got your, we're doing an install. We're installing some rain guards for the vehicle. And then we got yeah, we don't mind. You wanna help us take off some of this plastic? All right, pull this one out of there for us. Careful, step back. Pull that one out of the plastic for us, and then set it right down here, because we're gonna take a picture of it. Good job, good job. All right, so this one down. So we got, it's gonna come with 4 pieces here, and then if you need the Toyota part number, it's this right here, 08611-5310. And these are for the Japanese Toyota Altezza. So you can't actually order these here. You have to order them through a third party online or a hookup in Japan. But since this Toyota is basically, don't lean on the car, little buddy. Since this is basically a Altezza in Japan, everything just bolts straight up. So as you can even see, even the instructions, they come in all Japanese. But at least they got pictures, and that's what matters the most. What did your grandpa say? What did he say? He should only have to ask one time, right? That's right. Y'all enjoy the day, brother. Later, bud. Later. Be good. All right, so we got Japanese instructions here. And then if I can scan these and then try to put them into English for you guys, we will. But I'm thinking this video, we're gonna try to be as comprehensive as possible on explaining how all this stuff gets set up. There might be a way for me to scan it, turn it into a PDF, and then make it legible, but it's pretty straightforward. We're gonna clean the surface, line everything up, make sure it seems pretty well ready to be mounted up to, and then go from there. The wonderful thing about these OEM clips, or these OEM rain guards, is they come with these clips. And these clips, along with the adhesive, help to keep it mounted up. So you want to make sure you have a clean, super clean surface. Of course, you can only put the driver on the driver and the passenger side on the passenger side. The rear parts don't have the Altezza logo, but the 2 front ones do. So you can see that right there, Altezza, and you can see that right there, Altezza. Really super quality, really super nice. Then these clips is what I was most actually interested in, because it looks like each one of the clips is exactly the same. And you could see this up close. No other video online did anything to show these clips up close. And so anybody else that's coming in to do something like this, I just want to make sure that you have as much information as possible, because if you're like me in sea bass, we don't like to mess up, because then it means we did everything for nothing. And then it comes out looking botched or half-assed, and we don't like to do that. So it comes with actually, I think it's eight total clips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you'll see on the inside of the rain guards that they actually have clips that they attach to. So there's one here, and then you have this one right here. And the way these clips work is they actually, this bottom part slides up underneath the weather stripping, and then this top part clips onto this, and we're gonna try to figure that out right now. So first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and clean up all these edges around the door where it's gonna be double taping to, and then we're gonna figure out exactly how we're supposed to mount the clips before we actually attempt to mount them on. I think they're gonna clip onto right here somehow, like that, but I'll record it once we actually have an idea of what we're doing, so we're not just wasting space on the SD card. So see you in a second. Okay, so for when you're installing this on the door, on the instructions, you're gonna see that it'll tell you that you need to bring the weather stripping down, like it shows right there, after you clean it and all that other good stuff. And you'll do the adhesive first, but I wanna show like exactly how this clip actually inserts. It probably seems super easy, but if you wanna do everything right and easy the first time, you have to actually look at all your parts. So this clip, where the 3 forks are meant to face upward once it's already installed. You cannot install these clips first in order to kind of try to judge the area, because the way this lip works with these grooves right down inside there, let me see if I can point it. These grooves right down inside here, they're meant to tuck up under this. When you run your finger on the back of this, you're gonna feel that it actually has a little bit of a lip, and these clip on tight. So it's most important that you have everything that you want in place first and cleaned first before you actually install these clips. So you have 8 of them, and it's gonna be the same process all the way around. The weather stripping that it's telling you to remove is not the top weather stripping, it's the bottom weather stripping. So you see all this right here, and I think on another video I watched, they pulled this one off and they didn't say anything. They just kind of pulled it off and then called it a day and then went along with the rest of the video. That's improper. The proper way of doing it is this weather stripping on the inside of the window has to come down. The clip will clip on to the bottom of the window, and you'll push it in an upright fashion, and the same process will take place for all of them. When you have to reinstall this weathers trim, it just pushes right into place. And that's why you have to pull it down before installing, okay? It just pushes right back into place afterwards, and then you'll use your window to get everything reset and feeling good. Fortunately, the weather stripping on this car is in super good condition, doesn't feel all like it's deteriorating or anything. So we should be able to do this nice, super clean install on this. So we're gonna start with cleaning the surfaces. You wanna clean these surfaces here, all the way around on both sides, because this is where your adhesive is gonna go. And then we'll get to the install. All right, cool. And then whenever the screen goes black, you can just tap the screen.
Okay.
All right. So right now what we're gonna use is distilled water and some microfiber. We're not gonna do anything abrasive, and we're not gonna use any chemicals, because sometimes chemical agents can actually destroy the adhesive that we're gonna be applying on there. So we just want a clean and simple surface, and the best way to achieve that, in my opinion, is just with basic water. So get the surface all nice and clean. it's a super hot day right now. So one of the steps on there says that you need to use a heat gun. We're definitely not going to need the heat gun today. I think this surface is going to be hot enough for it to cure. We'll apply some pressure, clip it in place, and it'll be all right. So we've got our surface prepped, and the area that we're going to be attaching the rain guard to is going to be. Where'd it go? Is it back over there?
Yeah, it's back over there. It was the other one, the one that's like pointing out.
I know we're good. This
Okay.
is good. And we're gonna do just like this. So the test lineup, you'll see that on the back here, it has a little bit of a sponge. That's for like just OEM, don't scratch anything. Lines up right there. And so we'll line this entire thing up. Make sure we have it all nice and lined up. And then I'll go ahead and start from this side. It technically says you're supposed to line it up to the car and then pull the adhesive off, but we're doing it this way because it's just easier for us. All right, so line that part up, but don't stick. I'm gonna start sticking from this side first. And then we're gonna just line this up just like that. That side. Just like that. And there we go. You want it to be pretty flush with the top of your door sill. Apply a good amount of pressure. And then you'll take note that right here and right here is where those clips are going to go in. So that's why we have to have the weather stripping down. Now all the fingerprints and all that stuff will come off afterwards because we'll wipe it off. But once it's stuck in place on a nice clean surface, we'll take one of our clips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, oh, still there. And remember, this part, those are hot. This part is gonna actually clip into the clip or where it holds, and this bottom edge here is gonna tuck in under the window trim. So comes up like this, right underneath the trim, and then you start at an angled position, and then as you try to straighten it out, it'll clip on to the actual rain guard, and it just kind of holds it in place. Once it clips, it just kind of holds it in place. That one doesn't look like it's doing all that much holding, but it's there. Then this one here, come up from underneath, let me push up, and you'll see that it just clips onto the door and holds it in place, just like that. Now, the adhesive is going to be doing majority of the job, but should the adhesive fail, that's what these clips are for. That's what the clips are in place for, is to prevent it from failing. I don't think there's a difference in the types of clips.
Yeah.
I think they're all the same, but for the most part, that's what it is. So then on the rain stripping, you just tuck it back in to where it respectively goes. And everything just presses right back in. And it becomes a little harder to see because you're looking through the tent. But if you're just going nice and slow and guiding its way all the way up, it goes back to its original OEM position, no problem. And there you have just installed a rain guard. So that one seems like it's not really holding on all that tight, but we're lined up all the way with the door, and that's what majority really matters. So you'll see, close it, and then we're good. We'll polish all that off later. And then you just repeat the same process for all the doors. So we're gonna install all of them, and then we'll show you guys what it looks like when it's completely done. Cool. Press this button. All right, guys, so we got the window visors installed. You can see on this side over here, that's what it looks like finished. Oh, it's a stone. That's what it looks like finished. And you can see right under here where the clips actually hold on. Actually, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that on the GoPro. But there it is. You can see the clip underneath, and it kind of holds on to the wind visor. And then this clip over here too holds on to the wind visor. And what you do is when you're installing them, you kind of have to go at an angle, almost like a light switch. So you start going backwards first and then straight up. So it's like, if you're looking at my hands, it goes clip, you attach it, and then clip like that. So your motion for installation on getting these to hinge onto the actual window frame is going to be make it touch and then pop it up. So like this, clip straight up, then clip straight up, and this is how it looks when it's actually holding on to it. Now you might have to use your fingers to force a little bit, but what we found on this is it's possible that maybe the JDM has a different size window frame on the A-pillar. I find it highly doubtful, or I highly doubt it, but the angles for holding the wind visors or the rain guards, these angles going straight up work perfectly fine, whereas on the bottom part of the window here, it doesn't really reach all the way. But as long as you have the adhesive flush and the rain guard flush, then you're pretty much golden, because what's going to happen is down here at this part, you can't go back too far without making this part unflush, and you really need these flush, because once the door's closed, you don't want them so far back that they're actually touching. So you want to keep it flush with the actual car. The primary thing that's going to be holding these rain guards on is going to be the adhesive anyway, and since it's OEM grade, it's not meant to come off. So once it's on, it's on. That's why it's important you clean your surface and you line it up before you pull the tape off. But pretty forgiving, pretty good as long as you take your time. I wouldn't say this isn't something that I would say that this is something anybody could do, as long as you have pretty decently strong fingers. If you're a lady, you might want to be careful with your nails, because when you're pushing these clips on, it can be pretty brutal on the front of your fingers. But these are all on. It looks good. Now it's time for us to install the front grille. So to install the front grille, if we're looking at the OEM one, we'll see that it has 3 places of engagement. You have right here, or actually, you know what, let me restart the video so we can turn it into 2 different installs. So now we're going to install the front grille, and on the front grille you're going to see that it has mainly 3 places of engagement. You've got right there, right here, and right here. This should match up on any USDM or JDM, Altezza, or IS300 on all versions. Also, you want to take note that you have these if you don't mind holding that, please. You want to take note that on the edges here, these are going to be tucked in under the bumper. Also, you'll see these clips down here at the bottom. They're meant for sliding under the bumper. You want these clips to all guide underneath, and you'll see you have 1, 2, 3 separate little areas. So it's going to mimic the same thing over here. You've got your first hole, that's going to hold the grill. You have your second clip hole kind of thing that's going to hold the grill. And then you have your third right over here. And then underneath, you see these clips. Let me see if we can see that on video. You see these clips right here. I don't know if you could see it right there. 1. Then you have 2 right there. And then you have 3 over here by the horn. Now, I would normally say that if you want to do this without hurting anything, you could take off the bumper, but it's not really necessary to install this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get these little clips off, and then we're gonna install it. So for this, what we're gonna do is, I have these little trim pieces things ready. Usually these nylon trim pulls are gonna be for like interior, because they're flexible and they won't harm any of your interior parts like that. This little trim pull is usually for getting this style of clip, where you like pop it under here, you pop up this part, and then you could pop up the rest of the clip out. But that's not what we're using on the IS300. What we're using on the IS300, it looks like Phillips. So it's a Phillips kind of plug. So we're gonna figure out how to get those off, and then we'll show you how to do it. Say recording?
Recording, yeah.
So on these clips right here, you'll see that they just require a little bit of a turn, and then they'll come up and they come out. If you like to keep all your stuff original and intact, then I suggest a nice quick turn with like maybe an impact. It seems overkill, but these clips, after a while, they can get really deteriorated and then like crappy and then fall out. So we'll show you on this one right here. You want to make sure you're using a bit that has a nice snug fit. You just tap it real quick and then go ahead and pull it out. A lot of people might say, oh, don't do it with the impact, but if you're doing it gently, it's gonna come out gracefully. So we fit it right in there. If you don't hold it, it's gonna spin the whole thing. So you have to hold the grommet in place, apply a little bit of pressure just from the drill, and just tap it. It'll bring itself up, and then you can go ahead and remove the whole clip, or the whole piece. So once you do that, after we've already looked at our other piece, we know that the next things we have to do are these little things down here. So I'm actually gonna have Sebastian push on those because his hands are thinner than mine. I have sausage fingers, and that's not gonna work. So you see that blue clip right there? Push that down until you see it click.
Just straight down?
Yeah. Just that part, yeah. And then does it feel like it's moving?
Yeah.
There you go. Right there's good. And then you should be able to push that back as you're doing it. So try again. I'm gonna apply a little bit of a pressure to push it in it backwards. There you go. It's good. Now do this next one. Let me get on that side. So you see how he's pressing the clip downwards, and then we're applying pressure from this side to alleviate. Just the clip. Try to put your thumb only on the clip. There you go. And then push it forward like that. And then the third one right here. You push your thumb down on the clip, apply a little bit of a pressure, and then you're gonna feel the whole thing release.
Okay.
Now you see how on our JDM grill, you'll see how on the JDM grill, this is what we just released on here. These parts right here. And then you can see how it's got a little bit of a slot to go through. Those all line up with your OEM spots of where the bumper are, and these clips help it to stay plugged in where it's supposed to go. So what we're gonna do is, as we remove this, you can set it down.
Okay.
As we remove it, we're gonna reverse the steps of putting in the new one. So go ahead and you're just gonna work this backwards a little bit, just gently at a time, applying pressure, and then kind of give it a little bit of, lift that up a little bit, apply a little bit of pressure there, and then do one side at a time, nice and slow. So where do we look like we're hung up on? We look like
This side, because this one's already out.
Oh, okay,
And
all
then
right.
this is
So
the
let's
other-
just work on that side. If you have to kind of like pull the bumper just a little bit to give you a little space. And then you want to see where else you're tucked in at too. So it looks like this one over here is tucked in. Are those untucked all the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, those sides are all untucked. We free over here on this side a little bit. It's probably going to be one of those things where we have to do one side. So hold this. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and to preserve our grill, let's identify where it's being held on at. Looks like we got freedom on this side. We got freedom on that side. Alright, pulled that out, but that's alright. We'll be okay. We'll plug it right back in, and just like that. So now we're gonna get the new one, the JDM one, and we want to align it the same exact way we took that other one out. So the only way you're going to be able to maintain clean OEM looking is, oh, that was already broken. That's why it came off like that. That little headlight clip looks like it was already broken. Oh, no. It's on like that side too. No, it's not. Yeah, that little plastic
Okay.
looks like it was broken right there. But that's okay. On super old parts like that and everything, it's expected. But so this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna ease in from one side. We're gonna come down and let it plug in right where it was before. So ease in from one side. These parts tuck under the bumper. We also have to be conscious of our other clips that have to tuck in on the bottom part as well. Get everything worked behind where it needs to be to line up OEM status. And then we're gonna slowly put everything into place. So this part goes underneath. These parts tuck in. These clips behind all have to line up with their respective places of where the bumper is gonna re-plug back in. Like down here. And then we're gonna pop them into place. So we have one. We have two. And then three. And then it's tucked in right where it's supposed to be on the bumper here. Tucked in where it's supposed to be on the bumper here. And there we go. Nice. Now, you'll take all your clips, the originals. Remember, the one without the center is going to be the self-tapping that goes in the middle here. Just like that. And then we'll hit it slowly with the impact. It's overkill, yes, we know. But we just like to get it right there, hand tight. It doesn't have to be extreme. You just want it, everything holds itself in place. You just want to get it to where it's supposed to be OEM. Right there. This plugs into you want to make sure that these clips that are on the side here, on the JDM bumper, and these clips over on this side, you want to make sure they all tuck into the bumper where they're supposed to be tucked in at. Because on the old one, you'll see that these 2 points tuck under the OEM bumper. That's how you keep everything nice, flush, and clean looking. If you have these clips over where they're supposed to be, or not fully plugged in like we did on the 3 clips on the bottom, then it's gonna look off a little bit. So right here, you want it to be lined up, you tuck it in to where it's supposed to go, and you see how it went perfectly?
Yep.
So now with these clips, you keep it in its popped up open position, and then you press it into place. Same thing on this other side. Popped up open position, pop it into place. And then we had that other one right here. Here it is. Whoops, almost lost it. Same thing. This one's a little broken from the headlight bracket, but we're still good. It has its other ones. Pop it into place, and it's gonna hold it right there. And then you step back and look at the fruits of your labor, and you throw up because it's so sick. That looks good, dude.
Yeah.
Let's see what it looks like with the hood down. Mess this up because it's brand new. Brand new hood prop and brand new thing. We don't have any tools underneath the engine bay.
Looks sugar nice.
That is really nice. Wow. That is so clean. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the Altezza grill comes in, I think I said this earlier, but it comes in a multitude of different styles. I think there's 4 to be exact. You have the TRD, which is the mesh. Then you have the Sport, which was the 2 lines with the red emblem. You had the plain basic base OEM, which looked like this one, but it has an Altezza emblem. It's got this kind of like sporty half grill, half lines with the little ovals in it. And then you had this one. And this one is the half sport grill, 2 sporty kind of lines. And then normally it came with the black emblem. And this was found, this is a Toyota OEM, and this was found on the Altezza RS 200 limited edition. And this was one of the final versions of the Altezza that you can get. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was also an option. But for the most part, I think it was just one of those things that came with the limited edition. You also had the option of getting some BBS wheels and a lip kit, but I think the lip kit was pretty much for the most part stock on the Altezza RS200. So we've got our Altezza grill up here up front, and then we go over here to the sides. We've got our Altezza rain guards. So sick. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Now we have some work to do on the bottom, and we'll show you guys what we're gonna do.
Dang, I think I stripped it off. It just fell off.
It just came off?
Yeah, look.
Oh, that's not good. All right, so let's go ahead and here, watch out. Let me back that out. We'll get the other one off, and then we're just gonna go have to get a bolt.
It just came right off.
So we're working on it, and it's stripped. A bolt just go ahead and stripped out. Sebastian's strength is too good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this off right here. We're gonna back that out, and then we're gonna go ahead and get the exhaust down, and we're gonna paint this little area that we had to modify for the subframe in order to make it fit. Hopefully this other one doesn't strip out when we pull it, but you know, it happens. And I'm gonna record what we're actually doing. So with the Greddy SP exhaust, you have this part of the subframe, the rear subframe or whatever this is called, in the back, has to get grinded down a little bit to accommodate for the exhaust. Now, you're not really taking apart any of the structural integrity. Yes, these bends are here for a reason, but right here it's not so bad, you know. This is what it looks like stock on that side, and this is what it ends up looking like after you grind it down. The battery's dead, so we're gonna paint over this with some rubberized coating and call it a day.